Who does your makeup?
We all do our own makeup, and that's kind of accurate to the way that the actual band Kiss does their makeup. So we like to be authentic to what the original band does. And how long does it take you to put on your makeup, Steve?
2 hours.
Takes a while to put
Yeah.
on your own makeup. Have
Thank
you ever
you.
have you ever tried to put on makeup before?
No.
Any face paint or anything?
No.
It feels weird. It gets a little itchy sometimes.
Yeah, originally it was kind of difficult to put on. You get itchy and you have to have a toothpick to kind of scratch where it's itching at. But after you wear it long enough, it becomes like a second skin almost. You don't really notice it's even on there. That's a strange part. When I first started doing it though, it was always itchy and just didn't feel right at all. But now it's like second nature.
I mean, it's like clown makeup. It's not like women's makeup. Even although I've gone to the Ulta store more times than I can count to get the black nail polish and the black eyeliner. So you learn a couple makeup tips. Gives you something to talk about with girls who like makeup. But for the most part, it's the clown white and the clown colors and stuff, and you make it look accurate to what Kiss did in the '70s, and
Right.
everybody looks at you like you're actually them, even though you're not.
Thank you. The next question is, what's your favorite thing about being a Kiss tribute band?
My favorite thing about being in a Kiss tribute band is having people like it. So if it's entertaining to people, and if I can play and look at people and see that they're having a good time, that's my favorite part. So there's a lot of hard parts, but when I see that's happening, it makes all the hard parts worth it.
Yeah. The hard part's actually setting up and taking down our show. That's usually the hard part. The in between, the getting dressed and performing is the icing on the cake. But the rest of it's very difficult. I had a passion for all the songs, so I knew a lot of the songs already how to play them. So it wasn't like I had to learn a lot from that standpoint. But like I said, the glory is playing on the stage in front of the people, and like Nick said, hearing the adoration, hearing the applause, and seeing people really getting into it.
Right, a close second though is like we're kind of like a baseball team. We all have our positions. There's kind of a captain, but when you travel to a different baseball field, you have to take a bus or you have to go somewhere and you have to figure out where the locker room is. All the stuff about playing a sports game somewhere is a lot like getting to play a rock and roll show somewhere. You have to figure all that stuff out. You travel as a team. You get into your costume and you wear everything. You get into your clothes as a team, and you prepare what you're going to do as a team. And it's really fun to like have a group of friends that's also part of your team to just kind of go out there and do what we do. So I think that's a close second for me.
Yeah, there's a strong camaraderie between the four of us. We're all different personalities, different likes and dislikes, but we come together as a team.
Mhm.
Basically, that's how it operates.
Thanks. And next question, what is the band's favorite song to play?
Molly, you go first on that one. I don't know if we have a band favorite song. We each have probably our own favorite songs, I think, right?
The guys that aren't here would probably say Parasite, which is kind of a deep cut that not a lot of people know. But I think that if they were here, they would say that when we play that song, they feel really good and it makes the whole rest of the night go well. For me, I like the ones that we all sing, or the ones that have like a fun ending. I think "Do You Love Me" is probably my favorite because there's some really cool parts in it that me and the other guitar player play at the end, which people think is really special. So I guess that'd be my favorite.
Yeah, I'd have to say probably Detroit Rock City. Our band name is probably my favorite song. It has been since the Destroyer album came out for Kiss. I mean, I wore that song out, I think, on the album when I first got it. So that's probably my favorite song.
Do you have a favorite song?
Yes. My two favorite songs were rock and roll
Rock and roll
Rock
night.
and roll night.
over
Oh,
and shout it out loud.
okay.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, those are great.
We do
Great
those.
songs.
We do those live.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes I like Back in Black or
Really good song.
Yeah.
then. Next question is, do you get nervous when you go on stage?
Not when I go on stage, because by the time we get on stage, everything is in place and it's time to start. When I get nervous, we're in the truck and we're driving there, or there's something that while we're setting up the stage, like hours before we play, we have to set everything up and plug everything in. And I just get nervous that everything is going to get put together the way it should and that everything is going to work when we turn it on and plug it in. So once all that is done, that's when I can calm down, and like going on stage is the easy part. It's the getting there, setting up, getting into your costume, all the stuff that happens before that is the part that I get anxious about.
Yeah, I agree with Nick wholeheartedly on that, because that's the make sure everybody gets there on time and get to the venues on time and get set up on time. A lot of times we'll get there, doors will be locked. We have to find the person to let us in. And like Nick said, it's definitely an undertaking to get everything set up properly, make sure all of our special effects are working correctly ahead of time. So that's a challenge, no doubt.
Well, what do you do to calm those nerves?
I think that when you prepare and you know what's coming, you're less anxious because you've got it all sorted out. So in order to calm the nerves, I think that like the next time we play is usually better than the previous, because we're a little bit more prepared and we forget less things. But there's always that wonder, like, did I forget my guitar, or did I forget my costume? So now, like, in order to settle down, we just make sure before we leave that we have our costume, we have our guitars, we have the things that, you know, we don't have to worry about it once we know that we have them.
Yeah, for me to calm my nerves, it's just a bottle of scotch before the show usually calms my nerves. No, I'm kidding. I don't drink at all like that. But yeah, like one thing is I feel more nervous doing this, I think, than I do getting on stage. We're very well prepared, I think, when we get on stage, and there's no nerves for me at all. I'm more nervous doing rehearsals, I think, than I am getting on stage, because once you put that makeup and costume on, you become someone else. It takes over that, you know, you get over your fears and everything else.
Well, I guess to be honest, I get more nervous for everybody else on our team and I'm not nervous for myself.
He's like a
so
mother hen
if
when it comes to that.
like if a big part of the show is coming up, where let's say like smoke has to come out of the guitar, I get really nervous. I'm like,
Is it gonna work?
Is the smoke gonna work? I really hope it does for him. You know, and I'm nervous for him that it's gonna work or not. And usually, you know, it does, and it goes off without a hitch. But you know, I feel nervous when another person has a big part coming up, and I want them to nail it, and so that makes me anxious.
Besides Kiss, who do you look up to as an idol?
As an idol, my parents.
Oh, that's so sweet, Nick. I would say musically, I always liked, besides Kiss, I mean, Led Zeppelin was probably my favorite band of all time outside of Kiss. So those are probably, as an idol, I think I idolized Jimmy Page, Robert Plant, John Paul Jones, and John Bonham of Led Zeppelin.
Yeah, musician-wise, I always liked guitar players, and the older I get, the more I like songwriters. And I always thought there was a difference between a songwriter and a guitar player.
There is.
And I'm growing more of an appreciation for songwriters the older I get. But a lot of the idols that I've had since I got into guitars are almost not even the guitar players themselves, but the people who invented the guitar. You know, the people who, you know, actually like cut out the wood and put the strings on and actually invented guitars.
Leo Fenders of the world.
Yeah, like Leo Fender and Les Paul.
Yeah.
And people that make the electronics in guitars, like Larry DiMarzio and Seymour Duncan. They're the people that actually like give the technology to the rock star and say, play music with this. I really look up to those people.
Thanks for sharing. And what is your biggest conflict within the band, and how you resolve that together as a team?
I'll answer that question after I ask you a question. Who's your idol?
Either AC/DC or Joan Jett.
Okay, those are both pretty good.
Yeah, those are both great.
So your question was how do we resolve conflict? We usually just talk it out. So we're pretty open about conflict, and like Steve said, everybody has really unique personalities, and I think that we know what parts about somebody might make them not happy. So we try and keep everything out in the open as much as possible, because the moment guys are talking about other guys and they're not hearing about it, it doesn't really help anything. So I think that out of all the bands I've ever been in, this has been a pretty open band, and if somebody has a problem, we take care of it pretty quick.
Yeah, we have pretty thick skins. I don't think we would get offended by anything that critical or anything that we say to each other. Being in bands, for a long time, almost my entire adult life, I mean, it's almost like being in a marriage, just without the sex, I guess. But that's, we do get along pretty well. But I've been in bands that fought all the time.
Yeah.
Previously.
Things. And the last two questions are, what are your plans for the summer?
Ooh, we've got plans for the summer. So our band likes to play once a month. So if we wanted to, we could play every weekend, but we don't want it to feel like work. We want it to stay fun. So we say, we'll play somewhere once a month, and we'll get paid well for it, because if you play every single weekend, you don't get paid as much money. So not only are we getting paid, but we're also having fun. It's a great way to have a band, and it keeps it fun for us too. But outside of the band, I am going to be flying to Europe at the end of June, and I'm going to be flying into Amsterdam and then into Poland. So I'll be spending 2 weeks in Poland. I've never been to Europe before. I've been to Canada, I've been to Mexico, but I've never been to Europe. So.
And who are you going with, Nick?
I'm going
Care to
with
tell us?
my girlfriend, who grew up in Poland. But the plane is going to be an 8-hour flight over the Atlantic Ocean. So I've never been in an airplane for 8 hours, but I heard a lot of people just fall asleep, and then when they wake up, they're
Twice.
in Europe.
I fall asleep twice
So
on those flights.
that's gonna be a good time. My parents are babysitting my dog. I've got a little French bulldog puppy, and my parents said that we'll watch your dog for a month. So that's good. I've got a babysitter lined up for my dog. But yeah, that's gonna be the bulk of my summer. How about you?
Well, outside of the band, I'll be going to Las Vegas, Nevada, in 2 weeks for the first time in 19 years. I haven't been there in a long time. I got to go back and find my money that I lost there last time I was there. So I'm looking forward to that. And I've got some friends coming in from California. They're going to meet me there. And I'm going to probably try to talk to some of the hotels to see if I can get us some shows out there as well. Get us a traveling gig out in Las Vegas. So that's how I'm going to spend my summer. Oh, and we're playing a gig, in Alpena at a fishing festival, the Brown Trout Festival, right?
Right. We're playing in Wyandotte at the Yak Arena.
That's our next show.
In June, and then in July we're gonna be playing the Brown Trout Festival up in Alpena, and then in September. In October, we're going to play in Illinois, west of Chicago.
Yeah, Traverse City, we got a show as well.
Yep.
But Nick and I both like to fish too, and I don't think we're going to see much fishing at all, though.
We won't have time.
We won't have time to do that at all.
Yeah.
What are you doing this summer?
Things for sharing. And speaking of Wanda, I hope I'll see you two there. I'm volunteering. Before I pass on to Hussein, I have a last question. Speaking of jobs, do you have any daytime jobs when you aren't playing music? What are they?
I work at Oakland University, which is up in Auburn Hills, and I teach a couple classes there, but I'm also a staff member, and the main thing I do there is I help professors make online classes, and I've been doing that for about 14 years, but that's the job that I do outside of the band.
And I work in human resources for my former company. I retired early and went back to work for them part-time because they needed my help because of the way things are trying to find engineers for the organization. So I kind of do that in my spare time and get work remote from home and just work limited hours per week. So I have plenty of free time to do other things.
Thank you for sharing. Now I'd like to pass on to Hussein. That's time for a sign off.